All right, well, hello and welcome everyone. I'm Stephen Bailey, Assistant Director of Transportation and Public Works, and with me is Ronnie Katrib, our Engineering Administrator. This video presentation will cover a number of concepts for the upcoming Cherokee Road Sidewalk project. We're recording this as part of our online public outreach program, and at the end of this presentation, we'll provide a number of ways for you, the viewer, to make comments, ask questions, and give valuable feedback for us to share with Mayor and Commission as they choose a preferred concept during their upcoming voting session in September. So the creation of these concepts is really a follow-up to our work session in November, where staff presented multiple proposals of some of the first Athens in Motion sidewalk projects. We will be bringing a number of these to you in the next few months, starting with this, the Cherokee Road project today. I'll briefly run through the history of this project and then turn it over to Ronnie to explain the different concepts we have prepared, including a sidewalk and a multi-use path option. Finally, we'll direct you to the online storyboard and feedback survey for this project. The Athens in Motion Bicycle and Pedestrian Master Plan was the result of year-long discussions on how to prioritize, expand, and promote our bicycle and pedestrian networks here in Athens. It has given us a framework and prioritized project listing to start building, and has also led to the creation of our new Bike, Ped, and Safety Coordinator, as well as the community-led Athens in Motion Commission. One initiative they've focused on was to make sure we put each of our potential projects through the lens of our complete streets policy. In the case of sidewalk projects such as this one, that meant doing cost comparisons to determine the feasibility of installing multi-use paths versus sidewalks at these locations. Last month, staff shared alternative concepts with the Athens in Motion Commission, and after comparing costs and benefits, their recommendation is to move forward with the sidewalk only. They did not recommend spending additional funding on a multi-use path along Cherokee, though we will still be presenting both alternatives for you here today so that we can get additional feedback from you, the viewing public. We were excited to see Cherokee go through our newly updated public engagement process, including an initial public forum and an on-site walk audit, which one of our commissioners, Commissioner Davenport, joined us for. Comments at the audit echoed the recommendation for a sidewalk as opposed to a multi-use path. We're currently in our next phase of public input, and we ask that you please take the time after watching this presentation to fill out the survey link on the last slide. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ronnie, who will talk you through the specifics of the Cherokee Road projects and explain the next steps.
Thank you, Stephen, for the intro. Our Cherokee Road project is starting at a driveway of Lowe's on Cherokee Road. There is an existing sidewalk, as you see on the top left corner. We're tying to this sidewalk, going on the left-hand side with the sidewalk proposed, and on the lower left-hand side, the screen here showing Airport Road and Morning View Drive intersection. At this intersection, the sidewalk moves over to the right-hand side of the road as you travel towards Winterville. As part of this project, we're also tying to an existing sidewalk on Beaver Dam Road, about 200 feet from the intersection of Beaver Dam and Cherokee Road. Our sidewalk alternative and alignment, it starts, as I mentioned, at the project beginning point at Lowe's driveway, and it extends about 4,050 feet with graded ditches between the sidewalk and existing infrastructures and houses. 5-foot sidewalk begins from existing sidewalk and adjacent to Satterfield Park all the way to Airport Road. At Airport Road and Morning View Drive, the sidewalk shifts to the south side of Cherokee Road, and it extends along Cherokee Road to Beaver Dam Road by the Christian Way intersection. As I mentioned, 5-foot sidewalk is proposed for approximately 200 feet from sidewalk intersection, from said intersection, and ties with the existing sidewalk on Beaver Dam Road. Rectangular rapid flashing beacons are to be considered across Cherokee Road, Airport Road, Candler Road, and Cherokee Road extension. These proposals are pending warrant studies that will begin after concept approval. Accessibility ramps, crosswalks, and signal improvement are proposed at Cherokee Road and Beaver Dam Road by the Christian Way intersection. 3 different sidewalk alternatives has been developed with cost estimate ranging between $818,000 to $1,069,000. The preferred alternative typical sections are shown on this slide. This is a hybrid proposal for a sidewalk when it comes to the shoulder type between rural and urban, from Lowe's driveway all the way up to Morning View Drive. The preferred alternative calls for an urban shoulder with a curb and gutter, continues all the way up to Morning View Drive, and at Morning View Drive, where the sidewalk veers off to the right of the road, traveling northeast. This section would be a rural section or shoulder with a sidewalk, with a 5-foot sidewalk all the way up to Beaver Dam Road. The advantages for this alternative: it reduces impact to adjacent properties, utilities, trees, environmentally sensitive areas, and this feature is only limited to locations with curb and gutter. Curb and gutter is a traffic calming measure. It also maintains the current urban versus rural transition between commercial and residential properties at Airport Road and Morning View Drive. Disadvantages: the sidewalk location with respect to the edge of the roadway will vary. It does not accommodate to bicycle traffic either. At the Temple Baptist Church, we are proposing to use an urban shoulder if needed to preserve the existing parking spaces on the church property. And the cost is shown here for this concept. The Cherokee Road multi-use path alternative alignment. It starts from the same location. However, it starts on the other side of the road. It's a 10-foot multi-use path network that extends about 4,050 feet along Cherokee Road. The multi-use path begins from U-Haul or U-Pro's self-storage location across from Lowe's driveway and ends at Beaver Dam Road by Christian Way intersection. In the multi-use path, we also proposed a 5-foot sidewalk for approximately 200 feet from said intersection to tie with the existing sidewalk on Beaver Dam Road. Rectangular rapid flashing beacons are considered also on the multi-use path, and they all be pending warrant studies to begin after concept approval. The multi-use path also includes ramps improvement, crosswalks, and signal improvement at the intersection of Cherokee Road and Beaver Dam Road by Christian Way. There will be a minor improvement to Satterfield Park with ADA ramps and RRFBs. However, there will be no sidewalk at this alternative shown here. 3 additional alternatives were examined and developed, showing different options for the section from U-Pro self-storage to Airport Road, shown here on this slide with a dashed circle. The cost range between $2.18 to $2.5 million for these concepts. The Cherokee Road multi-use path typical section consists of a 10-foot multi-use path within a 14-foot shoulder. This is an urban shoulder section with 30-inch curb and gutter. Advantages: curb and gutter is a traffic calming measure. It improves stormwater drainage. Retaining walls will reduce impact to property, and it accommodates bicycle traffic. Disadvantages: multi-use path requires costly stormwater system upgrades, requires retaining walls, and high cost when compared with sidewalk cost. Cherokee Road improvements next steps. Our public engagement is ongoing, started on August 11, and it will be going through August 26, 2020. The presentation you see today should be available by August 20th or earlier. Concept agenda setting for review by Athens-Clarke County Mayor and Commission is scheduled for August 18. Concept agenda and regular business session will be considered for approval by Athens-Clarke County Mayor and Commission September 1st. I'll turn it over to Stephen to talk more about how can you provide us your feedback. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Ronnie. And thank you all for participating in this public input period. We'll end today with this slide showing multiple ways you can add your voice to this project. So we encourage you to send us your questions and recommendations through the links and contacts on the screen. And since we have the technology to do so, I'm actually going to click on this link here and show you really briefly our web page and the storyboards that are available specific to this project. All right, so if you click the link, that web link that was on the PowerPoint there, it will take you to the accgov.com website and specifically the Cherokee Road Sidewalks landing page. Notice that it has a survey available specifically for your feedback. There's also a way for you to sign up for notifications as the project is moving forward. We have a link to one of our earlier work sessions back in July that talked through this project in front of the Mayor and Commission. And then this link here actually shows a storyboard that kind of talks through the concepts again with similar maps, just a little bit more interactive to show you what's being proposed. And these links up here have the different alternatives, cost comparisons, as well as another spot here that leads you back to our survey for your feedback. So we just really encourage you all to follow these links, and we are interested in hearing your feedback. And also, please look for more of these opportunities in the near future as we have some other exciting bike and pedestrian projects in the pipeline. Thank you all.